All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Johnson Haygood Stadium for today's press conference. The Citadel will travel to number 7 Ole Miss this weekend. That's Saturday, November 8th. It's a 1 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff, noon Central at Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi. We have with us Coach Drayton to talk about the game.
All right. Good afternoon. First off, I just want to say how proud I am of the young men and women in our program. Saturday was everything you would expect from the military classic of the South. It was tough. It was physical. Emotions were everywhere. We as a team, we took punches early, but our guys never flinched. They trusted in their preparation. They leaned on each other, and they found a way to finish. That says a lot about the character, a lot about the grit, a lot about the culture that we're building here at the Citadel. I've got to give a huge, huge thank you to our fans, those who packed the stands and stayed with us to the end. You could feel your energy on the sideline. That energy eradicated the negative vibes. That energy killed the negative vibes. That energy neutralized, it slayed anything that wasn't positive about our team. And so for that, we thank you, because it gave us a spark. And it just took a little spark to get the fire burning. So we thank the fans again for that. We also want to thank everyone who watched at home. Thank you for believing in these young men and what they're doing. Your support means everything to us. Now, a special shout out to the Corps of Cadets. I'm so proud of the Corps of Cadets being energized the whole game, sticking with us. You are all the heartbeat of this place, of this institution, of this college. Your energy, your spirit, your belief that drove us. We thank you for it. When you talk about, and I talk to the team about this often, when you talk about playing for something bigger, yes, the Corps of Cadets, that's what we're talking about. We're playing for you. We're playing for the alumni. We're playing for the fans. We're playing for the entire Citadel family. Saturday was a total program effort. We are so very proud of it, from players, coaches, staff, fans, cadets, everybody pulling together, and I couldn't be prouder of this group. We're going to keep building, we're going to keep getting better, and keep representing the Citadel in the right way. We have a big, big game coming up. Why? Because it's the next one. Any questions at this point?
Coach, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Last week about what happened in the first half, maybe you kind of made the Furman rivalry bigger than it needed to be. I mean, you get down inside the 5 Saturday, go for it, come up short. Do you think kind of maybe just some missed opportunities in the first half on Saturday?
Yeah, we certainly had some missed opportunities. When we first got the ball, we put together a decent drive. Then we got a phantom holding call, which is turned in, and we fully expect to get a letter again this week saying that it was a missed call. But that's okay. We're not going to talk about the officials because we have to overcome that, such as life. It took a step back. And from that point going forward, we had missed opportunities in the first half. And not to take anything away from VMI, they punched us in the mouth. They came out and they were ready to play. They played as if their hair was on fire and if this was their Super Bowl. So credit to them for being prepared.
Obviously, the guys talked about it after the game. You talked on it as well. Can you maybe expand on maybe the grit and the heart your guys showed Saturday, especially there in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, definitely. And it's the definition of our one of our program philosophies, life. All right, so we just don't coach football; we coach life. And we've talked about, in life, you're going to have some bad days. You're going to have some days that, just regardless of what you're doing, it's just not going to go right. And you have to have that stick-to-itness. You have to have that perseverance to climb out of the rut that you're in and to keep going. And because I truly believe, because this is a program philosophy, it registered with these guys, and they just kept swinging their axe, and the tree finally fell. And at that time, the floodgates opened.
I know you kind of talked about this after the game, but 28 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. You've talked all season about finishing games, but how critical is this, and how can this kind of be a turning point for this team? I know you talked about the character and all that.
Yes, well, it's very critical, and now it takes the messaging that we have, and now it's real life for them. They had the opportunity to live it. So I know going forward in their individual lives, they will always know they may be down, but they're not out. So it's one thing hearing it in a classroom, but it's another thing living it. And because they had the opportunity to live it, I truly believe we have 120 men in our program who just added a little notch to their life lessons, their maturation process, that's going to make them better individuals.
Just to kind of talk about the chemistry that Quentin and Jihad Marks have had, especially there in the fourth quarter during the comeback.
Yeah, so they obviously have great chemistry. The thing that's going on in college football right now, you have to learn how to get people to galvanize and come together quicker than ever before because of the transfer portal and things of that nature. So, I'm doing a whole subset and a whole study on that alone, on how to teach that, how to, embody that and mold that. And part of it, we're learning through trial and error with our own team. And Quentin and Jihad have done a fine job with that. And the catalyst is probably Quentin, to be honest with you, because he and Kobe have a great relationship. You find me a college program where you have two quarterbacks that get along the way that these guys get along and genuinely care about each other and care about their team, I don't think we can find it.
I was going to ask about Jihad as well. What can you say about kind of the revelation he's been, especially the past 2 weeks, and how he's kind of opened up the passing game?
Yeah, so he's always been a very sure catcher. When he first got here, he didn't speak. He didn't talk much. He was the definition of that blue collar worker. And he's starting to open up a little bit, come out of his shell. But at the end of the day, it's all about the work. Classroom, he handles himself accordingly. On the football field, he handles himself accordingly. He's a good young man. Had the pleasure to spend some time with his father, and he comes from a great family, good family, and we're very thankful. I want to give Tony Coxum credit for getting Jihad here. He did a fine job in that process.
Long-time listener, first-time caller here, Coach. I do have a question about the 70-yard run from Bowling, and obviously Jeremiah Holmes makes that play, but it takes an angle of pursuit drill from Cyrese Smothers, and additionally some hustle from Tyreek McDaniel. How much does that play in terms of the encapsulation of what kind of culture you're trying to bring here?
Yeah, it capsulizes it perfectly. Don't quit. We can't quit. Make an offense snap the ball one more time. And I told on one of the broadcasts, it reminded me of a game either in 97 or 98 out on this same field. The running back was Carlos Lachlan. Had the opportunity to run him down and tackle him. And we ended up winning that game 7-3 because I believe the next play, Kevin Smith picked up a fumble. So it's very similar, and history repeats itself. And we teach, a lot of what we're teaching and what we preach is from our experiences. So that symbolizes, that encapsulates our part of our program philosophy. So, no, great question. I'm glad you brought it up because these young men, they're not going to quit.
Has Jihad given you that deep threat that you've been kind of looking for all season? Because it certainly looks like the last two games he has provided that for you.
Yeah, we're always looking for deep threats. You always want somebody who can stretch the field vertically, and he's proven now through some formations and some things we've been able to do where he's able he just needs a step, and he's able to come up with the ball. Very, very sure-handed catcher. He catches the ball very, very well.
How do y'all use now the momentum you have as you head to the number 7 team in the country at Ole Miss?
Yeah, so I think the focus needs to be on ourselves. We're coming off of back-to-back weeks of where a game, and I have to do a better job with this balancing, right? The emotions of rivalry games and games that, mean a lot of times no knock on anybody, more to the alumni than they do the actual team. They just know what they're taught, sort of like a toddler, right? They know what they're taught, they know what they're told. And so going forward, I learned a valuable lesson as a head coach. You have to stick with your process. Yes, you talk about the history. Yes, you make sure they understand, but the focus has to totally remain on your process. And if it remains on your process, that's how you continue the momentum. That's how you're able to, achieve things that people are not necessarily going to have any faith in you to achieve.
Not to give it away right now, 'cause I know you'll meet with the team tomorrow afternoon, but maybe just a little bit of your message to your guys going into Saturday's game.
Once again, it's going to go back to our process. Whatever we do on Tuesday that works, we're going to do that tomorrow that works. Whatever works for us in our process, we're going to do that to the best of our ability, because we've been getting better in practice every week, and I've shared that. We're going to, and the goal is to get better this week, and we're going to follow that process so that on Saturday you'll have the best version of the Citadel Bulldogs you can have. We have yet to play a complete game, and that's what we're searching for, to play a complete game.
You talked last week how you kind of look at some other opponents' kind of social media. Have you happened to look at Lane Kiffin's social media at all going into Saturday?
Yeah, not necessarily the social media. I guess, I don't even know the correct definitions of the social medias and things of that nature. But I do listen to, like, the other coaches' press conferences, things of that nature. I know a few coaches on staff there. Coach Joe Judge, the quarterback's coach, he and I were at Southern Miss together. Then he went to the New England Patriots. And in my time in the NFL, we've always corresponded and kept up with each other. He and his wife, Amber, have 4 kids. He has a son on the team. So when you talk about social media, I think, I don't even know what that thing's called, Facebook, one of those. I think, we're friends on there, and that's how I'm able to keep up with his family when we don't talk. They have a South Carolinian as an analyst as well, too. Sawyer Jordan, Coach Chuck Jordan from Conway. His son is on their staff, and we actually interviewed him here for a receiver position when we first got here. So having said that, my social media would be connected to them just because we are friends. Outside of that, I don't know. Obviously, Coach Kiffin's father, Monty, the father of the Zone Blitz, I've studied his work many, many times, had the opportunity to be in rooms before with him, and it's just a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, that was my next question. Lane or Monty, have your paths crossed in the past in the NFL or at college?
Yeah, just the opportunities when we've had the chance to be in rooms with Monty, his father. Once again, early on in my career, I had the opportunity to be with Dom Capers, who, they're all from that same family, and I tell you, I love what I was able to pick up in that short period of time. But directly, Coach Lane Kiffin and I, we do not have a path that intersected.
Yeah, kind of with that. Have you coached a game at Oxford, or have you?
I have.
Okay.
I was an assistant. We only played the University of Mississippi one time, and I think that was 2005 under Kevin Higgins. Their coach was Ed Ogeron at the time, and that's the only time that I've been there. I told you I've lived in the state of Mississippi, coached at Southern Miss. I have a great respect for Mississippians.
Having played at Clemson last year, does that kind of give you, you're going to be used to that kind of atmosphere and that kind of stadium and that kind of environment?
Yes, for our young men that did not make the trip to Clemson, and for those that did, obviously that's calming. We can reflect back on that. I'll use some imagery from that. I will talk about that somewhat to try to calm nerves. We're actually going to fly. I have young men who have not been on an airplane yet, so we're going to talk about that aspect. Some of them are very, very important to us who have never flown before, and we have to calm their nerves. Like, literally came over today, hey, Coach, is there any way we can rent a van and we just drive? No, you're getting on the plane. It's part of the maturation process. I'm more than a football coach. It's about molding men for tomorrow and women in our program. So that's what it's about.
You don't have any extra room on the plane, do you?
You would have to talk to Andy Clausen about that. He's the one that reserved the plane. So.
Do y'all do any prep for like an SEC atmosphere? What do you tell the guys? Any of that?
Yes, obviously, we'll pump in some crowd noise, so I want to apologize to the neighbors, especially that community in Wagner Terrace, who they give us a hard time from time to time. But we'll pump in some crowd noise. We will do a lot of things where it's just where it's just visual and not verbal, a lot of hand signals and things of that nature.
Just, I don't know how much film you've watched of Ole Miss, but certainly they're a top 10 team, one of the best offenses in the SEC. Just kind of what challenges do they present to you?
Well, it's a great challenge. First of all, I want to start by saying at the beginning of the season, I was hoping that Ole Miss would be undefeated and currently ranked number 1 at this point, because I wanted to be able to say and tell our team we played the number 1 team in all of FCS. We played Valdosta State, who was the national runner-up. So why not play the best team in all of FBS at that time, right? We don't know what's going to happen. The challenges that they bring, besides their 70-man support staff, besides their $13 million plus spent on a roster, besides the athletes that they have been able to pick up, to me, it's just another opponent. They're nameless, faceless people right now, and it's about the internal athlete. It's about the individual. It's about the man that you see in the mirror. That's the person we want to beat on Saturday. If you can beat the man in the mirror, that's going to give you the opportunity to have a chance at the end of the game to beat an opponent. And you can take that message every week.
Coach, we appreciate it.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.